Good morning, sweetie pie.
Well, good morning, Ormy. Hello, everyone. This is my grandmother. I call her Ormy, and I suppose, would you like to explain why I call you Ormy?
I certainly would. Your dad met your mum in Germany, and she had two little boys, and your dad would ring me and say I was going to be Oma, and I'd say, no, I'm going to be Gran or Granny. And they finally came home, and the boys called me Oma, even though I didn't like it. And then a couple of weeks later, they called me Omi. And your mum said that was a term of endearment.
I suppose once you start looking at the Skipper family, you start realising that every single one of us, we're quite weird. But once you start expanding on that, I think it actually has weird origins. So I suppose, Ormy, would you like to explain why?
I sure would, Lucas. Actually, it's good for you to remember this. Your great-grandfather and your great-uncle were born in England, and they jumped aboard a ship and came out to New Zealand, and their name was Fisher. And they didn't want anyone in England to know where they were, so they met somebody up north, and her name was Skipper, so they thought they would be Fisher Skipper. And your great-granddad married and had several children, and one was your grandfather. Yeah, your grandfather. And all the others got Fisher Skipper as their surname, and by the time I got down to Grandad and his brother Jack, they dropped the Fisher and became Skipper.
So I suppose fast forwarding, not all the way though, 20 years ago, a blessing came to your life, right?
Right. Yeah.
I just wanted to say that. When I was 3, my mother died, and then fast forward more years till I was 18. I think I was 18 when I became Christian.
I think you were about that.
Yes, or 2 years ago. And then I started coming to church, and I kept it very quiet. I think I did. I started going to Sundays, and I didn't tell the family, and I just started disappearing. Like,
And then you came round here.
Yeah.
And you said to me, now look, this is what I'm doing. And I just thought it was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And you said to me, because we were sort of like this, I wanted to get closer to my mum. Which, of course, because you don't have big memories of mum, so that was probably a double blessing for you, Lucas, really. And then you said to me, please will you tell my father, and you disappeared off to Dahara, remember that?
Yeah.
to Miyako's wedding.
Yeah. To my brother's wedding.
Yep. And you left me to tell him.
Yep.
I said to man, look, I need to talk to you about Lucas. Oh, what's gone wrong? No, nothing's gone wrong. He left it with me to tell you that he goes to church. He's gone. Okay, that all. Thought it was going to be terrible. I said, Lucas, not.
No, you see? Other people my age going out, sneaking out to parties and stuff. Me, sneaking out to go to church.
And then we came out the next day to the wedding, to Miyako's wedding. And if I recall, he gave you a big hug and said he was behind you. You sort of probably... I had been wanting to go back to church for many years anyway. But I used to go to church. I grew up as a Presbyterian. And my mum, we would go with mum. We would go to Sunday school and church, and then church and Bible class. And I was the only one that carried on with it. My dad, he was never a churchgoer. He was in the shed making homebrew, I think, looking back. And mum wasn't baptised either. And we were both going to be baptised on the same day, and I fell pregnant and I wasn't married. And so I felt that I wasn't worthy. It's what I said to my minister a couple of weeks ago. I wasn't worthy to go ahead and be baptised with mum. Mum was really disappointed that I didn't do that. But it's so many years ago, 50 years ago, and things were different in those days. So I didn't go ahead with it, but I always regretted it. And then I worked really hard, and I worked on Sundays. So I couldn't go to my church because they only had morning services. So I waited, and I knew the time would come. And Lindell was a little inspiration as well. Lindell Kelson. She used to talk about her church and her children, and I worked with her when she got married, and we worked together for many years. So I felt really comfortable when you said to me, let's go to Agora for coffee. Remember that? And I saw Lindell there. I think she was reading, can't remember. And I felt very comfortable with where you were at, knowing that Lindell went to that church. That lightened my heart.
Shout out to you, Lindell.
Yeah, so I felt a lot better about it. And then I retired, but I wasn't very well, and so getting out of bed was a bit tough at times. But anyway, this day I woke up and said, no, that's it. I'm going back. And I did. And there was not one hymn that I knew. There was not one person I knew. It was really scary for an old person to go back to church. And they always have a cup of tea afterwards, and I scarpered. I was gone out of there. It was really, I disappeared. But I went back the next week, and they wouldn't let me go. And so gradually, I'm just part of my family, my other family, I call them. And then you getting baptised really stirred something in my brain, and remembering back to Mum. Mum can see what I'm doing now, and I'm finally worthy. So 20th of next month. So I can't wait.
I can't wait.
I
It's
know.
exciting. Going to try and bring as many youth there so we can youthify your church.
Just remember how it's only a little church. It's only little, and most of the people there are elderly.
Some emotions that I'm sort of feeling is, I suppose just one of the key ones is excitement. Like, how can you not get excited about someone that you know getting baptised, let alone your own grandmother? You know, so
Yeah.
I think
I'm excited too, sweetie pie. I really am. But I'm exceptionally proud. I'm proud that you will be there. And then I'm like you. I'm baptised.
Yeah. And then we can go out for dinner and walk around with like certain pride and go, we're baptised.
Look at us.
Yeah.
Look at the young and the old.
Yeah.
Or the old and the young.
Yes.
Lucas was with me when I went and bought my Bible, actually, my new Bible, because my old one is that big and the print is that big. Couldn't read it. It was too hard.
You need some big textbooks,
Yes.
like the children's books with just like letters that big, and you're like, oh, 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 I get it now. Oh, that's what Jesus did. Oh, you made that blind person see. Oh, I get it now because there's a picture there and it helps me. All right, guys. So that's a bit of our story. You know, not like the whole story couldn't be fit in here, obviously, because we're much more in depth than what we present to be or what we can say. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed it, and I really think that my grandmother is an inspiration.
Thank you. And I love you.
Love you too.